Two men with ties to Arizona, one that is born in Arizona. What do they all have in common? They are now with the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs announced on Friday that they would be bringing in Shane Doan as the special advisor to the general manager, Brad Treliving. In a statement from the Maple Leafs, it reads, Toronto Maple Leafs general manager Brad Treliving announced today that the club has hired Shane Doan to serve as special advisor to the general manager. In his role, Doan will assist on all day-to-day matters of hockey operations as assigned by the general manager. Now, this is interesting on a number of reasons. One, when Treliving got hired, there were a few reports saying that Doan possibly could be in the mix to come over to the Maple Leafs. And now that's a reality. But the other reality is that Shane Doan is a smart hockey person, and the Maple Leafs bringing him in is a smart decision. Doan played in the NHL for 21 years. He was also working with the NHL before heading to Arizona, where he spent a few years there. And throughout that, he was the general manager in 2022 when Team Canada went to the Olympics. He was also the assistant general manager this past year when the Team Canada went to the World Championships. So let's just say he knows a lot about hockey, and him joining the Maple Leafs is really good for the Leafs in general. Like, you think of their hockey operations department headed by Brendan Shanahan, you have Haley Wickenheiser, you have Brandon Pridham, you have Ryan Hardy, and now adding a guy like Shane Doan is going to push this Maple Leafs front office, in my opinion, even further. And immediately when he did join the Maple Leafs, everyone was like, Auston Matthews is re-signed automatically. And yes, that's probably the case, but it was probably going to be the case whether Shane Doan was with the Maple Leafs or not. Obviously, with Doan playing in Arizona and Matthews being from Arizona, there's a little bit of a connection. There's actually a lot of a connection. Auston Matthews, I believe, has said that Doan was his favorite player growing up, so there's that's going to help. And plus, they just have a great relationship, which should help. But as we've seen, as we've heard from Shane Doan already on this Friday afternoon, he's going to help wherever he can. From David Alter, Doan in the conversations with Matthews who can sign a contract on July 1st. If I can help in that area, I'll help. But at the same time, that will be his decision. Of course, again, it's going to help having Doan in the organization. And at the end of the day, we've heard from Matthews already saying that he wants to be here. Whether that be for a couple of years, whether that be for longer term, the message has been sent. Matthews wants to stay in Toronto right now. And having Doan here will help a little bit, whether that be in maybe getting him a longer deal or whatever, but at the end of the day, Matthews was probably always going to come back. But we're forgetting about another Arizona kid here in Matthew Knies, and Matthew Knies apparently went over to Shane Doan's house yesterday, giving him a Leafs jersey. According to Luke Fox, that's what it says. Matthew Knies stopped by Shane Doan's house yesterday and gave him a Maple Leafs sweater with the number 23 on it. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out with a guy like Auston Matthews' caliber. Maybe he'll really, really want to play for a guy like Shane Doan, Brad Treliving. Obviously, he did want to play with Kyle Dubas. Things just didn't work out there. But maybe this could be a shift in the right direction for the Maple Leafs. And obviously, having a guy like Knies here as well, this could push the button for him to want to stay in Toronto long term. You just think about how much and how big a guy like Doan is in Arizona, and him coming to a Maple Leafs team that has already two people from Arizona in Matthews and Knies, it could really, really help. And in return too, this is going to help Shane Doan get a lot of experience in a front office, and a big one in the Maple Leafs, and he'll learn the ins and outs of the organization. He'll learn the ins and outs of how to be possibly a general manager one day. That might be what he wants. I'm not sure. But at the same time, it's also going to get him to learn about the Toronto Maple Leafs, the fans, the media, everything. And I'm sure he's excited about it. He even said that it's an opportunity he couldn't pass up, and that's why he's here today. Shane Doan on the lure of the job via Terry Koshan. I don't care if you love the Leafs or hate the Leafs, which a lot of people do. You can't ignore the fact it is where hockey is so huge, and the ability to be there is special. So it's pretty clear that there's going to be a lot of people happy in the organization today, especially Matthew Knies. We already know Matthews in the future, and probably he's already pretty happy to see Shane Doan in the organization. Brad Treliving, who worked with Doan in Arizona, and I'm sure there's a lot of other people happy in the organization. Obviously, after the last maybe month or so with the Kyle Dubas and Brendan Shanahan things, this is a turn that seems in the right direction. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in terms of Auston Matthews and his contract negotiations. Will they get him signed before July 1st? Does it really matter at this point? I don't really think so. He's already said he's going to re-sign, so it'll probably happen at some point this summer. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that, what happens with trades. Again, even with that, it doesn't seem like Mitch Marner, John Tavares will not be traded. Obviously, Mitch Marner, who knows? William Nylander, who knows? But William Nylander is also able to re-sign on July 1st. So it'll be an interesting summer, and this is going to be an interesting, I guess, few years with Shane Doan as the assistant to the general manager, Brad Treliving, special advisor to the general manager. Let's get that right. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I've covered, I think, everything that I want to talk about. It's been, I think, a long time since I've made a video on the Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't know if this will be a regular thing. I don't know if I'll go back to it. I guess we'll see whether or not, and however many people actually watch the video and like the video. But if I do come back, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. I enjoy making YouTube videos. Do you enjoy watching them? If you do, again, make sure to leave a like. If you really enjoyed the video, subscribe. And we'll see you whenever the next video could be. Maybe it's tomorrow, maybe it's free agency, maybe it's Christmas. But I'll make another video. I'll be back.